What's going on, guys? It's VerrilloTrading over here, coming to you live. I'm on YouTube and Telegram at the same time. This is the first time I ever do a multi-platform live stream. And the way I'm going to set this up is that most people who want to, if you want to ask me a question, you're going to come into the Telegram group and you guys can ask me things about trading. I can let you speak directly on the mic and we'll get that started. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna let everybody join, but I'm gonna give you guys an idea of like certain things that I'm gonna talk about in this stream here. Number one is I want to catch up with you guys to see like what some of my viewers are up to. Number two is I'm gonna answer any and all of your questions. And I wanted to talk a bit about a few items. One of them is regarding some of the challenges that newer traders face when they get into trading. And here we go. So this is my chart book on Sierra Chart. I'm looking at a few different cryptocurrency markets today. And overall, what we've seen today is mostly an inside day in the stock market. One thing that was notable was yesterday we had a big update in the cryptocurrency markets, which a few of my friends were surprised by that and interested by that. I do find it interesting that we've seen new high of day new all-time highs in the certain crypto coins like XRP and the coins that are associated with it. Whereas if you look at other coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin, they're not hitting all-time highs, not even close. So that's something that I've been watching for, and also I've been looking at the overall correlation between Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Bitcoin, because these are very, very correlated. The MicroStrategy stock, MSTR, it's almost like a one-for-one correlation with Bitcoin, and some of the levels in the MicroStrategy stock are important to watch if you are trading Bitcoin. That's what I got to say about that. I'm going to bring up the stock chart book here, and yeah, so I don't know if you guys are listening on it, whether you're listening on YouTube or Telegram, it's all good. And join the Telegram so that way you can hear me there, and I'm going to invite some people to speak a little bit later in the live stream, and we're going to test that out to see how it's going. Now, the first thing is I had a question from a trader named Mohammad, which I'm going to get to at some point. So I'm not going to get to the questions right away, but I'm going to talk about a few things first. So first thing is, guys, let's talk about being a new trader. Let me know in the chat first, whoever's here. We got 19 of you. Say what's up and like the video. I want to know, how long have you guys been trading? Just put a number. If you've been trading for 1 year, put 1. If you put 2 years, put 2, etc. Just put the number of years you've been trading. If you've been trading for less than 1 year, just put 1. Okay, so I just want to see numbers of how long you guys have been investing for and trading for. Because one thing I know is that the majority of people on YouTube that watch YouTube live streams have not been investing for that long. Although I have seen with my viewers is that some of you guys have been investing for quite a long time. And every now and then I meet people that have been trading and investing for a long time. Some of you people are ex-floor traders. I mean, I've had the pleasure of talking with a number of you guys that do that. See, for example, here, we have a few of you guys here. Thanks for writing in the chat. DC says 1 year. Umar says 9 years. Wow. Killa says 2 years, 5 years. So that's good. So we have a good, pretty mix of people here. Monkey says 20 plus. I don't know, man. That's crazy, man. That's like a whole lifetime at this point. Like, you've been in this for a whole lifetime. But you know, I'm always kind of skeptical when people say like I've been doing certain things for a long period of time, because it doesn't really take that long to get your feet wet in an industry. Because, you know, for example, some people say you can be profitable in a year, but I don't believe that. But what I mean is that it takes about 6 months of pure dedication every single day to really get used to something and kind of get a feel for the ups and downs of that particular thing. But then once you pass that point, that's when the real work starts. At least that's what I think. Anyhow, so one thing I wanted to talk about first is some of the challenges that new traders face. Because as you guys maybe have been following some of my videos, for the last couple of videos, my father has been recently getting into investing and trading, and he's been trading a little bit of cryptocurrency. And when I talk to him, it's kind of like, how do I explain this? It's kind of very, I would say, a little bit draining to talk to him, because it's like somebody who's been doing something for a long period of time, talking with somebody who's getting into the same industry. It's very difficult. And one of the reasons, well, there's so many reasons for this. One of them is because new traders have to sift through so much noise on the internet, and they don't have enough experience of knowing what works and what doesn't. They haven't really gotten their feet wet. They haven't like taken enough trades yet to really experience like losing streaks, winning streaks, and all this stuff. So they go in and watch these YouTube content creators, and they think that that's, you know, the reality of how things work. And obviously that's only a small part of it, because one thing is, when you get into something, you're getting into it from the current standpoint of where you are. So how you've lived your life up until then is going to also dictate how you start off getting into an industry. So let's say, for example, someone who's very fond of conspiracy theories and like theories about, you know, the fact that there's like one global or a handful of global entities that control everything, and they think that everything is kind of like there's like a cabal controlling everything, and there probably is in some regard. I mean, there's arguments you can make to say that's true, but like someone who's big on conspiracy theories and then they get into trading, they're going to think that, you know, at least this is what I've heard from my dad. He said to me various things that are, in my opinion, incorrect, and he believes them to be correct, but I know that they're incorrect because I've been trading for a long enough time to know that that's not correct. So you have, you know, all these YouTube content creators that make these clickbait titles, clickbait videos about how markets supposedly work. And I have to constantly explain to my dad that that's not the way it works, unfortunately. Trading, right? So something that newer investors might say is, when they're looking at, like, let's say someone who's investing in, I don't know, XRP or a cryptocurrency. They watch videos on it, they do research on it, and then they start kind of convincing themselves that this is the way it's going to play out. Like, and they use words like, it's going to go up, or it's gonna go down for the next 2 days, and then it's gonna go up. And you guys have been trading for a while, you know this, is that that's incorrect vocabulary. The proper way of phrasing this is, because we're dealing with uncertainty, you have to use words like, it could do this, or I'm forecasting that it might do this in the next 2 days. So let's say, for example, yesterday we had a big move up in cryptocurrency. So today, or yesterday night, I was looking at the markets and I was saying, you know, tomorrow might be an inside day. There's a higher probability that we have an inside day tomorrow in certain markets based on criteria X, Y, and Z, and that's where you go into the factual proof behind the matters. I mean, when you have big movements in the market, it does increase the probability of an inside day depending on where we open, depending on what it did overnight. The chances and the probabilities of the inside day change. So when we're dealing with uncertainties, you always have to speak in that type of language, which is, it could, it might, I think it might, etc. That type of stuff. And that's something that new traders struggle with, which is dealing with, they talk too much in sureties. They think they know what's going to happen, but they don't. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Monkey Investor says he started in 1990s with my first money he earned was way different than more long-term investing than short-term trading. Yeah, definitely, man. Killa says new traders really need mentors, and they need to be good, trusting students. Yep, they do need mentors. I get a question a lot, which is like, how do you find good mentors in trading, and who should I follow and who should I not? And is this trader guru legit, or are they not legit? What I normally answer to that type of question is, honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. The one thing that does matter is if the traders you're following have a proven track record and they're willing to show that. They're willing to show their proven, audited broker statements. Whereas there's a lot of people that don't do this. There's plenty of people online that talk about, okay, the market's going to crash in the next 6 months, but they don't show any proof as to why. Or they may talk about, you know, because the interest rates are doing this and that, but that doesn't matter. There's a lot more factors that go into if a market's going to crash or if it's not going to crash. That's at least what I think. So when it comes to mentors, like, for example, some of you guys might follow these big mentor traders like, you know, Warrior Trading, for example. I'm actually quite fond of Warrior Trading. I don't trade in the same style that he trades in, but I believe that he has a lot of experience in the marketplace. Whether you think he's a scammer or whether you think he's legit, doesn't matter. The point is, you are gaining information from an investor and trader that's been involved with the markets for, you know, a long time. Someone who had their feet wet in the market, someone who's lost a lot of money, who's made money considerably. So you're dealing with somebody who has experience trading. I think at the end of the day, that's what's important. You want to be dealing with people who have experience in this game, and you want to be taking information from those types of people. Yeah, sorry, I was playing with my USB thing. But yeah, is the sound? How's the sound? Does the sound okay? Are we dropping sound? How about now? I was touching my USB thing by accident. That's what caused the camera thing to drop there. But I hope it's okay now. So let me know if it's okay in the chat. Let me know if you guys hear audio and if you see everything looks okay. I'm live streaming here on YouTube. It's 2:16 Eastern Time PM right now. The markets are pretty much an inside day from the prior day. And I have a question from Umer. And he's asking about, is it any better to use only DOM for trading treasuries instead of charts and lagging indicators? Also tell me, did you ever use Jigsaw Trading DOM? So I'll answer the second question first. Yes, I used to use Jigsaw Trading I started using it in 2020, in June of 2020, and I used it for about a year to a year and a half until I switched over to Sierra Chart entirely. That was my personal decision to switch over because I believed that at the time Sierra Chart just had what I was looking for. There's plenty of traders that use Jigsaw Trading. Nothing against them, nothing against Jigsaw Trading. They're a perfectly fine platform. There are a number of issues with it, in my opinion. One of them is that with the trading services that they support, like CQG, I don't know if they've changed this, but back when I was using it, it only had client-side bracket orders, meaning that if you submitted a bracket order in, like a buy order with an attached stop and attached target, the bracket orders are not server side. So if you closed off your software and your buy order got filled, your stop loss wouldn't be submitted. That's one problem that I saw with Jigsaw. Now, in regards to your first question, which is, should you use only the DOM or should you use charts and lagging indicators? This is a really interesting discussion that I think some other traders would be interested in talking about too. I mean, there's a few videos on it online, but there's a lot of information that when you start looking at videos about order flow, people talk about how the DOM is an essential tool when it comes to trading, and that it's all they need for trading. Now, look, I started using the DOM in 2020. That's when I started. And since then, I've actually started to shift more and more away from the DOM and more into indicators that may be considered as derived from information that you would see on the DOM. One of them might be pulling and stacking on the order book. So as you can see here, I don't have that on my DOM. I have a DOM over here for micro Bitcoin futures. But one thing that I do find interesting when it comes to a DOM is the pulling and stacking columns, because that shows you when the market makers are pulling and stacking their orders. Now, to specifically answer the question, do you think it's better to use the DOM for trading treasuries or using charts? It's really going to depend on you and where you're at in your trading and the indicators that you've learned how to use up until now. Because there's no real sureties as to what works and what doesn't. You have to determine if it works for you or if it doesn't. One thing that I found about using only the DOM is that you're lacking bigger market context. So if it was me personally, like I do use the DOM still in my trading to look at the liquidity of the marketplace to see approximately, for example, during rollover period, there might be a time where I don't know which futures contract has the best liquidity, so I'll use the DOM to determine that. I'll use the DOM to determine how many orders are competing on the spread at any given time. Like, for example, here's the spread of micro Bitcoin futures, and there's about 1 to 3, and then you see the bigger orders a few ticks away. That's what the DOM is useful for, basically seeing the liquidity of the marketplace. But now when it comes to determining if I want to buy it or sell it, in my opinion, there's other factors that I would use to gauge that. And those factors are going to be relative to your system of trading and to your knowledge and to what encompasses into everything that encompasses how you trade, basically. So personally, I don't use the DOM that much when it comes to gauging areas to do business, areas to do trades, things like that. So I have a few things going on my chart here that you might see, you might ask questions about. But I do also use longer time frame analysis to gauge certain things. I use prior day levels. Prior day levels are something that I've been looking at for a while, and I find that they give interesting context to the market. You could go as simple as prior day high, prior day low, prior day open, prior day close, prior day midnight price. That's something interesting. Things like that, and then also supply demand levels on multi-time frame. That gives context to the market when it comes to a swing trading standpoint. For example, yesterday I was looking at this cryptocurrency called H bar, and you can see that we crossed through a big monthly level. This orange level on my chart is a monthly chart zone, 32 cents, and I basically saw this and I was like, well, above 32 cents it's kind of hard to short this. It's pretty impossible to short this actually, because you're breaking above a big monthly level. There's also a weekly right here, and you're breaking above some pivot highs, 33 cents and high 33 cents, and you have a big monthly supply zone right here. It's very difficult to short this. So for me, I would have been long biased this, and I was long biased this, just I didn't execute the trade. But it's something that I said to my dad yesterday when I was talking with him and we were reviewing some of the charts on the markets. So me personally, I don't use just the DOM. Now, even if it's just trading treasuries, I would do the same thing. I use the same systems of trading when I'm trading treasuries. I'll bring up my treasuries charts here. Okay. I hope you see them. I hope you see the charts now. Hold on. Let me confirm that. Let me confirm it, what you guys are seeing. Oh. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm still getting used to this live streaming thing, but in reality, I should have a second monitor for the stream so I could see exactly what you guys are seeing. But yeah, I see that now. But I could re-explain what I just said if I need to, but it's not a big issue. So now you see the charts fine. That's perfect. I'll keep it on this view for a while. So I want to see a couple. So here, Monkey says, thanks. Okay, so Umar says, thanks for answering. Monkey says, what is really a game changer for short-term trading is combining stocks data chart and DOM with options data, open interest, and volume. I find that interesting. I find that very interesting too, because obviously there's a considerable amount of volume that goes through in the options market every day. So if you can develop some sort of a system that combines that volume, or at least looking at the volume on options, that does give you some context into the market. So one thing I was looking at earlier, let me see if I could switch this. So I have TWS over here. I was looking at MicroStrategy options, which were interesting. So if I pull up MicroStrategy, one thing I noticed is that the even number options were doing the most volume and they had the most open interest. I get a question a lot when people ask me about TWS and specifically about options trading. One thing that I think is very important when it comes to options trading is the strike price selection, especially if you plan to day trade them and like buy it and sell it in the current day. One thing you have to consider is the bid-ask spread. Second thing you have to consider is how often it's being traded. Because those are two factors that are going to be able to help you get better prices and get in and out of the option easier. So and now in regards to what Monkey was saying about open interest and volume on options being a game changer for trading stocks, I agree with that, because look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is a stock that apparently it has a very high holding in Bitcoin. I mean, it's like almost, if you look at the stock, it's almost like a tick for tick representation of Bitcoin against the US dollar. So when you look at the options volume on MicroStrategy, that gives you context as to where some of the dealers are positioned and where traders are also putting in orders on these options. You can see even numbers. That's where I'm seeing them. You can see the 350 puts and calls. That's where the most volume is. 355 puts and calls. 360 puts and calls. 365 and then 370 calls, right? 13,000 traded on the call side today on 370 calls. So that gives you an idea of where the dealers are positioning That also gives you an idea of the options that are doing the most volume. So if you have to get in and out of a trade on the same day, you're going to want to trade those even number options and try to avoid these off strike prices here, like this 367.5. I don't even know why they have these in between strike prices here personally. I mean, there must be a reason for it. Someone might be able to tell me in the chat, but I wouldn't trade them, not with a 10-foot pull. I've gotten into too much trouble trading in between options before that. I just stay away from them at this point. Yeah. Okay. Jose said, what configuration do you use in Sierra Chart for the merge policy? Unfortunately, I do not use Sierra Chart yet. I have not been able to switch from NinjaTrader. I think NinjaTrader does not correctly roll over the contracts. So the merge policy, I guess what he's talking about is the rollover, or sorry, the continuous contract. I think that's what he's talking about. The configuration that I use, if I show you my chart settings, is continuous futures contract, volume-based rollover, back adjusted. So I think what that means is that whenever the volume on the front month starts, or sorry, I guess it would be the back month. Whenever the volume on the back month starts doing more than the front month, that's when the futures contract rolls over. And then the historical chart is back adjusted, which I don't really know the theoretical definition, but basically it makes it have a smoother chart. When you pull up a big, longer time frame chart, you'll see a nicer, more reasonable representation of the longer term chart. I think that's what back adjusted means. And I've used that for a while, and I think that that's fine. So yeah, volume based rollover, back adjusted. So what's going on, guys? If you guys are just joining the stream, welcome. We're just doing our in this case, bi-yearly stream, because freak, I don't stream enough. I really don't stream enough. You know what I should do is turn off Telegram alerts, because I'm getting Telegram alerts, and you guys are gonna hear that every time. Let me know if you guys did you guys hear that Telegram sound right there? Because I think I'm putting in my audio to the thing as well. But anyways, not a big deal. ZB, MBT, HBAR, Telegram. No, I have alerts disabled there. So I don't know, not a big deal. Let's get to the questions. But what I was talking about there is because I have an implementation from from Sierra Chart directly to Telegram. So every time an alert gets triggered, I get it on Telegram right away. I use that when I'm away from the desk. And I also when I'm not at the desk, I run Sierra Chart on a remote server with that same indicator. So it's able to alert me of the market doing certain things. I haven't yet developed any things where I can push, where I can like request things from Telegram directly from Sierra Chart. That would be cool. I wanted to do that too, where like I have my Telegram bot and I say, okay, give me a chart of this market, or place an order in my account for this market. I haven't done that on Telegram yet, but I don't think I'll ever do it. We'll see. Maybe at some point. S9 says, have you considered any quant methods to refine and or figure out if whatever you're doing is working? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. S9L, I absolutely 100% have. I often do market replays testing strategies that I've developed. So if it's not something I coded hardcore in there, I will just use market replay and I'll look at, I'll do it myself manually, but obviously I know that the proper way is going to be to write a program, collect the data on various things, and then take it from there, analyze that data and see, based on how the market's been trading, what's working, what's not working. But yeah, that's 100%. I think that that's the best way to go about things, is using the power of whatever trading software you're using. It could be Sierra Chart, TradingView, to create case studies on either trading strategies or just on the market data or on various indicators that you might have that you're using, and then collect data on those case studies to see if it's working or if it's not working. Obviously, it's easy to explain that, difficult to implement it, because you need to be able to program and think logically about these things. But anyways, that's the answer to that. Jose says, Denali Exchange data feed is a good choice for Sierra Chart. Yeah, that's their preferred data feed. That's the data feed that's available on Sierra Chart, the best data feed that they have. It's very high quality data for US stocks and for US futures. They also have free cryptocurrency data they get directly from Binance and a couple of other exchanges. The main downside of the Denali Exchange data feed is that it doesn't support all the markets. So if you're looking for a remote you know, cryptocurrency exchanges, like, you know, if you're trying to trade a remote crypto coin, you will not be able to get it on Sierra Chart unless you develop your own implementation to that exchange and then put the data into Sierra Chart, which is possible, but it's a lot of work. I thought about doing it, but haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But there is some coins that I've been looking at. One of them is XDC. I've been wanting to trade that and chart my system on it, but I can only chart it on TradingView, so I can't quite do that. So yeah. Jose says, can you make a short video to explain how I can start to watch your channel frequently to help me get started? I don't necessarily know what you mean by that, how I can start to watch your channel to help me get, I don't really know. So one thing that my channel does have is a lot of platform tutorials for Sierra Chart as well as interactive brokers. So if you need information for using those softwares, you can definitely find the playlists on my YouTube channel for that. Other than that, I don't really know. If you need direct support and assistance with these softwares, I also have a one-on-one service that I offer there. You can check it out. Probably it's in the link down below. That's for people that need one-on-one assistance or configuration assistance with Sierra Chart and Trader Workstation. I often get questions from users about how to configure bracket orders for trading options on TWS, or setting up specific chart book layouts on Sierra Chart. And apart from that, I also have a few free custom indicators that I release. So what you're seeing on my chart here, some of this stuff is actually free on my repository, though not all of it. I think that at some point I will end up open sourcing a lot of things. So I would say there's always a percentage or a portion of the things that I develop that I end up just open sourcing and giving it to everybody. And then there's down the line, there's going to be a few items that are going to be more paid items. I haven't gotten around to doing any of this stuff yet, but you know, for now I have an open source repository. Go and grab all the code you can off there. Ask me questions about what I have. Maybe I'll open source more things. Like one of the things that I talked about is this modified zigzag study, which is if you guys go and watch the video I did maybe 2 weeks ago where I released the prior day level study for Sierra Chart, I talked a bit about the modified zigzag study. I'm not sure if it was in that video or the one where I did the 2024 review, but you see how the bars are green and red when the pivot points get extended to the end of the chart? That's the modified zigzag study I wrote for a friend of mine who used to be a floor trader. It was an indicator he had in TradeStation and he wanted to port it over to Sierra Chart. So I helped him do that, and I actually ended up using it now because I find it gives good context to show the highs and the lows of the market. So AB says, Verrillo, what do you think about IB commissions on options? I think they're fine. I never had an issue. I thought that they were pretty low at all times. There are ways to lower the commissions, and you can test this. But I think the commissions on IB are fine for options. I think IB is one of the best brokers to trade US stock options. Maybe not if you're shorting calls, although I don't really think shorting calls is a very good strategy because it's just a lot of risk. But I think the commissions are fine. Mark says, what is the DOM on TWS? DOM? The DOM on TWS, 1 second, is the BookTrader. So you go to new window and then BookTrader. That's the DOM. And it looks like this. It's a price ladder. Well, it's kind of ugly, but this is what the DOM looks like on TWS. Now you could trade directly on this. So if I bring up like, you know, a legitimate stock. So here's Tesla. I don't have level 2 data, but that's the DOM on TWS. It's possible to place orders with pre-configured bracket orders here on TWS. Okay. Now, just a second. I'm going to go over to my Telegram just for a sec there. Okay. So yeah, there is. I don't know where it is, but it's probably here. Hold on. No, it's not here. Is it here? Wait. I want to turn off my Telegram alerts because they're annoying. I think it could be here. Nope, it's not there. Anyways, I should, maybe now that I'm seeing this, I think that I have, anyways. Oh, I know where it's coming from. Sorry about that. It's coming from the second instance of Sierra Chart. It's coming from here. Here it is. Coming from directly here. Got it. Now I turned it off. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, I showed him the DOM and TWS. If you guys are just joining, leave a like in the video and drop something in the chat. Drop a question in the chat. The chat is free for anyone to ask questions. I also have the call going on my Telegram, which I'm going to open up at some point for some people to speak. Maybe if you guys want to talk about trading, I'll open that up here for a moment, and we'll see how that works. This is sort of like a test live stream. Someone left a super chat. D388 CQC, thank you for the super chat for the 25 there. I appreciate you. He said, thank you for your efforts. Helped me a lot with the IBKR when I started a couple years ago. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, man. Awesome. I don't know what I did there. I just tapped on it on my phone. Okay. Umar says, Chris, do you also trade indices along with treasuries? I haven't traded the indices in quite a while. Lately, I've been trading more cryptocurrencies. I've been tinkering around the last 2 months, especially with. Okay, I got an alert from MicroStrategy. That's weird. That means I had 2 instances of it. That's why. Remove it. Remove it. There we go. And oh my God, I had 3 instances of it. That's why I was getting 3 alerts every time an alert was triggered. And I'm getting alerts for this 362.67 area on MicroStrategy, which is a weekly chart level. In my opinion, above that, I'd be bullish on it. But anyways, I'm going to remove it for now. He said, do you trade indices? I haven't traded the indices in a while. I've been trading more crypto in the last couple of months here, tinkering around with that. And there's a few problems that I've run into when trading these cryptocurrencies and a few sort of inefficiencies. I don't really have to get into it now, but I definitely think if you are, let's just say this, if you're an automated trader, if you're a quant trader, I would say that if there was a market with the most amount of opportunity and inefficiency, I would say it's in the cryptocurrency exchanges. I remember some time ago, I sold some piece of equipment to somebody and I went over to this guy's house and I walk in there and this guy has like these screens set up and I was like, are you into trading? And he's like, yeah, I actually do cryptocurrency arbitrage. So what this guy was doing is he was buying and selling cryptos on different exchanges at the same time and kind of acting like a market maker. And when I look at the liquidity on various centralized cryptocurrency exchanges, they could be, you know, BitGet, KuCoin, Binance, etc. BitGet is one of them that I find the liquidity is pretty disgraceful. If you look in the middle of the day, it's like the liquidity is completely fake. There's almost no liquidity there. And you can even see this if you go in and put in a test order on one of these centralized exchanges like BitGet. And I know I'm dropping names here, but I have to give a name, right? You'll often see that your order gets front run. So you might put an order for, let's say, 1,000 or 2,000 XRP to sell it short or to buy it. Your order is going to get front run almost immediately. And so that's a problem. Whereas if you had the ability to quant trade, like let's say you set up some sort of an algorithm that splits up your orders, and I know this is way beyond most of you guys because some of you guys are just, you know, I want to put in my option order, buy some calls, sell some calls, do it simply. I don't want to get involved with this crazy freaking coding matrix stuff that these quant traders talk about. And I understand you guys because it's crazy to get into that. And you spend your whole day doing this and wasting time. But if you are the type of trader that does quant trading, cryptocurrencies is where you're going to go to get those inefficiencies. At least that's what I believe. Okay. Because you're going to be able to split up your order and execute your, you know, orders on multiple exchanges if you need to, and also get a better view of the order book. Because I don't know if you guys have traded on these centralized crypto apps, but you get like 5 order book prices, you see almost nothing. So you don't really see what the market makers are seeing. If you want to truly trade seriously, day trade some of these crypto coins, and you really want to get an idea of the liquidity, in my opinion, you need to either use a web-based software or you need to create your own app that pulls the whole market order book, the order book, and then you can clearly see what's going on in that order book and not rely on the slow update speed of that mobile app. I go on tangents a lot often. S9 says, do real-time flows trump price levels? They can. They certainly can. I think they certainly can. You may have certain contextual levels that have either been, well, generated. I always use market-generated information, obviously. It's not obvious, but market-generated information is where it's at. Prior day high, prior day low, or maybe some of these boxes that you're seeing on my chart here, which are generated from the Heiken Ashi charts and bar closes. If you see a real-time flow, like a change, normally it's due to a news announcement, and that is going to trump those levels sometimes. And other times what you're going to see is you'll see a real-time flow, and it'll it'll use the levels. Like you'll see a big movement, it'll go right to the level and then reverse. I've seen that too on treasury auctions, and on certain crypto announcements too. But when you look at markets that have thinner liquidity, real-time flows will trump all price levels. And then once you see liquidity come back in the market, then you'll see the price levels start getting respected again. At least that's what I've seen. And you'll see like certain things, certain anomalies that you might see, like, you know, how can I give an example of this? Let's say you have Bitcoin, right? And you have like a flash crash, like maybe this is not a flash crash, but let's say you saw a big move down today, right? This was prior to 2 days ago midnight price right here, this 97,585. 2 days ago midnight price on Bitcoin. Now let me see if that actually agrees. Yes, it does. So you see it there on BTC USDT perpetual on Binance. That's the 2 days ago midnight price, the purple line. So you can see that when you have big moves down, sometimes you'll see levels like that, significant levels, get respected. At least that's what I've seen. Other times what you might see is you might see the levels not get respected. Let's say you see a big flash crash down and then it recovers, but then on the way up as it's recovering, what you'll see is, let's say it's recovering up and it'll come back and backtick the level, bounce off of it, and then continue going up. And that could be a signal to continue going long, or maybe add to your long trade if you're really bullish on it for other reasons. So real-time flows, baby. Do you know if there is a way to optimize the weird coloring in TWS? I used TradeStation. It was way better. Unfortunately, TradeStation is now prohibitively expensive for European traders. The weird coloring in TWS, you know, there are some color options in TWS, but it's pretty limited. Like, normally you see this in the settings for whatever widget you're using in TWS. So if you're on a chart, for example, you can see that my bars are different colors. I have a tiling window manager, so my settings things appear in weird places. But for example, charts, settings, and then chart colors. This is going to be the only coloring options you have for the chart. And the same is going to apply for whatever widget you're using. Some of the widgets have less coloring options than others. So I don't know, the option chain maybe. If you go to settings, hotkeys, layout, I don't see any color options other than if we go to hotkeys. Yep. Yeah, we have color schemes for strikes. That's the only coloring option we get for the option chain. Other than that, not really. So it really depends on the widget that you are using. And then there's also global coloring options in TWS. If you go to File, Global Configuration, Display, and then Settings, either Style, here you can choose the application color, dark, classic, or light. And I guess my tiling window manager is not playing very well with TWS. This is just a test, honestly. I started using a tiling window manager and because it's pretty cool and it's cool workflow, but it doesn't really look good with TWS. I'll be honest with you, because look, if let's say I go in here and I do a buy order, that's fine. Everything works good. But then when you get the pop-up windows, they pop up in weird places. Like, look, I'll click on the price. You get the limit price thing pops up in the middle of the screen right there, which may be good because I could use the arrow keys to go up and down and then escape to close it. But I noticed there were certain items that don't work properly because, anyways, I don't really want to get into it that much, but it's interesting. Nong Kali Rubush, what's going on? He says, "Hi, quick question: Is there anything a trader can do to mitigate risk from overnight pre-market gap ups or gap downs?" That's a good question. It depends on the market you're trading. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Some of you guys who are watching this, you may already know the answer to this. Put the answer down below if you know the answer to that question. But I would say first, it depends on the market you're trading. So if you're trading an index like S&P 500, NASDAQ, Russell 2000, or some sort of I don't know, a cryptocurrency, the best way is going to be to go in and short or buy the futures that represent the pricing of that index. Now, if you're trading stocks, this is where it becomes more difficult. Unfortunately, you have to be able to reasonably assess the gap up or down risk in the stock you're trading, and sometimes it becomes impossible to assess that risk because you could have overnight news. So if you're trading a stock, unless that stock has a near 100% correlation to the index or a high correlation to the index, shorting or buying the index futures is not going to really hedge your position very much. Like if you're trading, I don't know, a low float stock or a penny stock, good luck hedging the overnight risk on that. Now, one thing to note is that on certain, well, I've seen lately, the stocks recently came out with overnight trading. So I think that some stocks now actually trade around the clock. So that's something you want to look into. It's interesting. And that actually might prohibit the gap down and gap up risk. He also said, Nongali said, to my knowledge, stop losses don't activate in pre-market for gap ups and gap downs. Yes. So if you're using interactive brokers, one thing you have to note is you have to use stop limit orders if you're planning on leaving your orders in overnight. The stop order will not trigger unless it is regular trading hours. You have to use stop limit orders if you're trading after hours. So let's say you go in and put in an order for this. Let's say, I don't know, let's say you're long 100 shares of this, right? You have a stop loss in, let's say attach a bracket order to that. Your stop order type needs to be stop limit, 100%, okay? And then also the time in force for your order needs to be set to good till canceled, and you have to check this box for fill/trigger outside of regular trading hours, which is going to ensure that your stop loss is filled outside regular trading hours. Now you can enable that as a default in Trader Workstation too. You can also change your time in force for the order to good till canceled as a default too. So that shouldn't be an issue for you. Just note that regular stop, just a plain old stop order, is only available in regular trading hours. Okay. A person, hello, welcome. We have 35 people watching. If you guys are just joining, what's up? My name is Chris, and I own this channel here. Every now and then I do a live stream. I got to try and do more live streams here. I'm answering people's questions here that are coming, asking me questions about Sierra Chart, interactive brokers. If you guys have a question, drop them in the chat below. I'm also on Telegram, which I don't know how that's going, but I'm streaming the audio to Telegram too. And I'm going to listen to that later, and I might bring up someone to speak during the stream. If you guys want to get up and speak and ask me a question at some point, you know what, maybe why don't we test that now? So if I go over to Telegram, let's see here. I only have Jose listening in the Telegram thing, and he's got his mic muted. But if you come into the Telegram channel and then you join the stream on Telegram, you'll be able to join and then request to speak just like you would on a Twitter Spaces, an X Spaces. I shouldn't say Twitter. Sorry about that. So if you raise your hand to speak, I can get you in to ask me a question directly on there. And I think that I want to do this type of workflow more often because it's going to make it more interactive with you guys, talking. We can kind of shoot the shit and go back and forth. I do think that this is something I want to do more going forward. All right. So let's see here. Whoops. That's my tiling window manager. As you can see, I'm able to switch between things on the fly, baby. All right. Let's see here. I'm going through the comments. Hello, a person. Just came across your channel. I was searching for how to set up and place a market order from a chart in TWS. Do you know how to? It is way easy on TWS, but they're expensive. Is BOM the same as Bookmap on TOS? You mean the DOM, like the DOM? Yeah, it's kind of similar. Although Bookmap is more sophisticated than a simple depth of market. So he said, is there a way to submit a market order from a chart in TWS? Yes, I can show you how to do this very easy, actually. So let me go over to TWS. And so let's say you have your chart, right? So you go to New Window, Chart. Now, I don't know about Advanced Chart if they support what's called the Buttons panel, because that's what you're going to use here. You could either use Chart Hotkeys or you could use Chart Buttons panel, either one. So let's say you have a chart pulled up here like this. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to the settings, or go to Configure, Settings, and then you're going to get this window. Now, if you want to set up hotkeys, sorry for the beeping, but that's just Sierra Chart beeping for an alert that I have. You go to Chart and then Chart Trader. You bring down this settings window, and then you're going to see two menu items here. One of them is hotkeys. If you want to use keyboard shortcuts, you have to configure your hotkeys here. These are keyboard shortcuts that apply only to chart trading. Okay, so what you would do is you would set up a shortcut for a buy order, and then you would tell it to just be a buy market order. The other way of doing it would be using a buttons panel, which is like this. The way you enable the buttons panel is going to be as follows. So you could either do show buttons panel here and then press OK, but the way of doing it on the chart normally you'll see it under this menu where we have file or view, actually view. So if I maximize this chart, then you'll see the file, edit, view. So you click on view on your chart and you go to buttons panel like this. Now you can see the buttons panel at the bottom of your chart. You go to configure and you can change what the buttons are and what they do. So what you're going to do is you're going to configure a new button, make it a buy function. That's my tiling window manager not working well. Oh, there we go. Down arrow. The down arrow works. Okay. I don't know how I did that, but I set up a buy. Okay. So now buy, and then the order type is going to be market. So we'll do market. Let's see like this. MKT, enter. No, that's not market. We want market. There we go. And then if you want, you could set up attached orders, bracket orders. That's going to be completely up to you, but not obligatory. If you do decide to attach bracket orders like an attached stop loss, something you're going to have to note is this. If you go to attached stop order type here on the right, you go to stop, and there's an other item that I'm not seeing here for some reason, but it's called apply offset to parent. And maybe I'm anyways, but what that feature does is based on whatever price your market order is filled, it auto adjusts your stop price to be this amount away from your entry price. So that's something you may want to check. Okay. And by the way, guys, if you guys really are looking for one-on-one support for this software, I offer that as a service. You can check in the description below. Okay. And you can also send me an email at support@VerrilloTrading.com if you want to just ask me a quick question about how to configure something. I typically get to those within 48 hours. But if you do book a session with me, obviously I'll get to those requests first because you guys get priority. Okay. So let's see here. I'm looking at the comments. I answered a person's question. Martin says, are you running CR chart on Linux? If so, how's the performance? I was thinking of switching to Linux. Yes, I'm running on Linux right now. Right now, I'm running Trader Workstation as well as CR chart on Linux. I'm on Fedora Linux, XFCE, although I have a tiling window manager that's handling the windows. Okay, I'm running on Linux. Now, one thing about Linux is that it's a big can of worms. I wouldn't recommend someone who's not too computer savvy, who doesn't want to start setting things up by custom, by hand, and who's not, if you're not good at like Googling stuff and using AI to help you with commands and stuff, I wouldn't recommend going over to Linux. Linux is more for experienced computer users. That's at least what I would say. Especially if you want to customize things to the T, because, you know, it's cool to have a customized interface where you can get things like kind of how you want them and then leave them that way, and then everything is just cool, you know? You don't have to mess around with configuring. But yeah, I'm running Sierra Chart on Linux as well as Trader Workstation. How long have you been programming on Sierra Chart for, and are you still learning? So I am definitely still learning, but I do have a very good grasp of the Sierra Chart programming interface. I've been programming on Sierra Charts since, I believe, the middle, or I would say the late part of 2021 to 2022, which is when I started watching Frozen Tundra videos and listening to his live streams, which were in Fat Cat's Discord server some time ago. Fat Cat is a YouTube content creator who trades the S&P 500 E-minis. Frozen Tundra is also a YouTuber who who trades equities, and he also does custom programming solutions for Sierra Chart, but he does bigger projects. He doesn't code small indicators, so he only codes big projects like fully automated trading systems. So I started watching him, and I was in cahoots with him for a while, and I still, you know, every now and then we contact and talk on Discord. But since then I was, you know, learning on my own and, you know, creating various different projects in Sierra Chart. And now I'm at the point where I've actually created a few indicators where I've implemented some third-party libraries into Sierra Chart studies. One of them is I coded interface directly to Telegram. I coded also a second version of my Telegram study, which uses their Telegram database library, which is actually even better, but that one's not released. It was just a beta version that I was working on. And then, you know, a few other things that I've worked on that have graphical user interfaces. But overall, if you're just programming directly in the Sierra Chart coding interface, I would say that I have a good grasp of how that works when it comes to just coding simple indicators. One thing I could say quickly is don't use ChatGPT to help you code in Sierra Chart. Don't use an AI model, although I've heard from some people that it is possible to train an AI model based on the Sierra Chart documentation. So if you do that, then maybe it'll be able to help you, okay? But don't ask ChatGPT or Grok, hey, how do I write an indicator on Sierra Chart? Or why isn't my code working on Sierra chart? It's not going to be able to help you. You should read the documentation yourself and figure that out. Okay. Olufemi says, can you please show how to scale in contracts on Sierra? Yeah, I guess I can. I'm just going to skip over your comment briefly just to see how many other comments we've got. We've got about 10 or so. Scaling in is very easy on Sierra. I think it's well designed for that. There's multiple ways of doing that as well. And when people ask me questions about bracket order configuration, like on TBUS or Sierra, I always give them a number of solutions because there's not one way to do this. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to trade simulation mode because, or else it's going to show my live account number, and I think it still might show my live account number even if I do this. Probably it will. So I should probably switch trading services. That'd probably be the smartest thing to do at this point. But anyways, it doesn't matter if you guys see it. It's not the end of the world. It's like I don't get that much money in there, and even if you know the account number, it's not the end of the world. But I guess I could kind of graze the surface over how this would be done. So how to scale in contracts in Sierra chart, it depends on how you have your bracket orders set up. So you could set up so that when you have an existing bracket order in, if you have the scale in functionality enabled on the trade window on Sierra chart, what it does is instead of submitting a new bracket order every time, it just submits a single parent order. And then when that parent order is filled, it automatically goes in and adjusts the quantity of your stop loss and your target. So that's one way of doing that. Now, I personally tend to not do that. I tend to use separate bracket orders for each position just because I feel like it offers me more flexibility. So let's say, without bringing up the trade window, I think I have it set to one contract now. So I put in a buy order for one contract on Bitcoin micros, right? So you could see I have one contract, one stop loss, one target. Now, if I put in another order, you can see it's also going to submit another order with another stop loss and another target. Now, this is most of the time my preferred way of doing things just because it gives you more flexibility for scaling in and out of the trade. Now, obviously, this method is not going to always work because sometimes you may have entered, let's say you shorted, I don't know, let's say you went in and you shorted 4 and then you shorted another 4. And so now you're in a position of, long or short 8 or 10 contracts. And then you went in and you just manually sold 1 or sold 2 or sold 3. Now you have bracket orders left on from the previous position. So what you need to end up doing at that point is going to trade orders window and then, looking at what orders you have to see them there, and then you may actually use the trade window to put in a separate OCO for the rest of your position. So that's something you may need to do. And now maybe I could do another new video on how I would manage brackets in Sierra because there's so many different ways of doing it. Like there's no one perfect way. So everything I'm saying here is just like, various solutions that you could implement if it suits your trading style because everybody trades a little bit differently. If you're a short-term scalper, your trade management approach is going to be different than if you're, trading on an intraday basis or have, swing positions on from the prior day type of thing. So it really depends. Or if you're an automated trader, it'll be different as well. All right. So we're seeing, Bitcoin and MicroStrategy and all this move up here, move up since the day. This is a pattern that I've been seeing, believe it or not, for quite a while, maybe in the last month or so. Every time we see big moves down on Bitcoin, especially early in the morning, it tends to recover them. You tend to see a V-shaped recovery. I actually got caught in 1 or 2 of them, maybe about 2 weeks ago. I caught in a V-shaped recovery with that, lost about a couple hundred on one of those days. So I tend to be a little more careful now with that. But yeah. Let's see here. Can you please show how to scale? Do you have any experience with Investor RT? I don't. If so, how does it compare to Sierra? I assume the cost is not a concern. Taurus 2X, thanks for your question. No, I have never used Investor RT, but I think from what I remember, that was a platform that was associated with Futures Trader 71 and maybe with Edge Clear Broker. I know that in regards to Edge Clear Broker, again, I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I've heard about them and I know that they have good reviews as a broker. They have a new software called Edge Pro X. It's not new. I think they've had it on for a while. But I do know that some of the users of the Edge Clear Broker use that software, Edge Pro X, rather than Investor RT. But you're going to have to look into these softwares to see if that's what you're looking for. I'm going to take a sip of water because my throat's getting dry. Call it 3 sips, baby. All right, let's try a hotkey. If I switch and press Alt, window key F1, does that switch? No, it doesn't. Reason is because I have to create a better shortcut in OBS. That's why. Okay. Oh, it did actually. Oh, it did. It worked. Okay, cool. Interesting. All right. All right. Other window. There we go. Let's see here. Renegade, speaking French, my friend. Tu es rendu NTL au QC. Maintenant, cheers, bro. Tu nous joues un petit quelque chose à la guitare. Yeah, I guess I could. He's asking if I can play something on the guitar. I guess I can. Not a problem. We're only 39 people. If you guys are just joining, let me know. If you're new to here, I don't know. If you guys, maybe you're just checking out what's going on. Either way, my name is Chris, and this is VerrilloTrading, and I make videos about software tutorials. That's what I'm known for here. And I use Sierra Chart interactive brokers. Nothing more complex than that. I like to trade crypto. I like to trade futures, and I like to play the guitar. And I like to trade. I like to go to the beach in the wintertime because snow sucks. That's all I gotta say. So I'm looking at the comments now. J-Lo says, are you able to use any options data / charts in Sierra Chart? Yeah, last I checked, they had it. If you connect to interactive brokers, you can get it. I don't know if it's reliable. I would say probably not. One thing you could check, it's probably more of a pricey solution, but you could check IQ Feed. IQ Feed, because I know that Sierra Chart has support for IQ Feed. I don't know if IQ Feed has options data, but if they did, that would probably be the best way to get historical options data into Sierra Chart. But I've never tried it, so I can't say much. Rainbow Rival KH, what's going on? Is there any good low margin brokers for futures in Canada? I hate when IBKR suddenly increases margin during periods of volatility. Yes, that's a good question. I think a lot of people often ask this question. What you're going to have to do is, number one, determine the platform that you want to be trading on. So let's say it's Sierra Chart. Then you need to determine if the broker that you're on supports that thing. Sorry for the sound on Sierra Chart. Maybe I could remove that. But I think it's because we're getting new high of day alerts. That's why. We're getting new high of day alerts on Bitcoin. That's why I'm getting those beeps. But yeah, I guess maybe I should turn that off for live streams, but it's not a big deal. But yeah. You have to first determine the platform you want to use and then determine the broker and see if they support that platform. Then obviously ask the broker if they allow Canadian customers. And then you're going to have to go through the list of brokers to see which one supports what you want. So there's a lot of research behind this. I know you're looking for a short-term answer like I recommend this broker, I recommend that broker. But in reality, there's a whole bunch of brokers that do support Canada in the US. I use Iron Beam on Sierra Chart. But there's other ones that are just as fine. You could use Edge Clear. I've heard good things about them. You could use Iron Beam. You could use AMP Futures, AMP Futures. Tell them whatever province you're in. Ask them if they support the province you're in Canada, because the province does make a difference because there's different regulatory requirements for the provinces in Quebec. I mean, the provinces in Canada. I'm in Quebec. So you could check Edge Clear, you could check Iron Beam, you could check AMP Futures, you could check Optimus Futures, you could check Canon Trading. I mean, those are just some names that I know, right? So I'm just giving you names just to, check it out. But I agree with you when it comes to interactive brokers, the margins are high. I've said this in multiple videos. I don't recommend interactive brokers if you're doing short-term futures trading. If you have futures positions on for hedging purposes in the traditional futures markets like S&P 500, NASDAQ, and all that, it's fine. They're fine. Don't go in and try and start trading Bitcoin futures. It's not going to work on it. It'll work on interactive brokers, but you're going to pay double the margins, right? My overnight margins for micro Bitcoin are basically whatever the exchange has, and my broker's Iron Beam. Looking at the crypto markets here just quickly. XRP not making highs. But if you look at Bitcoin, we're actually on high of the day right now. It's interesting. Along with MicroStrategy, Tesla's not on high of day, not even close. But there is correlation. If you look at the move, look at this move since 1:30 or 1:45 p.m. You're seeing correlation around the board in the NASDAQ stock market along with Bitcoin. That's a correlation I noticed yesterday as well in the CPI report. You saw it looked as though risk assets, cryptocurrencies, as well as stocks were all correlated on the moves that happened on CPI. Some of them moved more than others, but you saw certain cryptocurrencies go to all-time highs yesterday. All right. Hi, Chris. I followed your channel for a long time ago, and this is the first time I'm watching your live. What's going on? P. Shenanigan. Thank you for joining, sir. Leave a like on it. It's the first time for joining live. You know what, man? I really got to do more live streams. Real talk. Thumbs up if I should do more live streams. Thumbs up if you don't want me to. Thumbs down if you don't want me to do more live streams. Show how to set up a trailing stop in interactive brokers, please. I know you have a video on it. LOL. Yeah, trailing stops aren't that hard. How do you want to set it up? With a hotkey or using a buttons panel? Like I showed earlier in the live stream, you can use either of those two methods to set up an order type. So you could either do it manually, which is good too. But what I normally recommend is use either the buttons panel to create a custom button for your trailing stop, or to use a hotkey. But I like the buttons panel because it actually shows what the button does. And when you change what the button does, it'll change the text, and you can customize the text of the buttons to you know, be whatever you want. So you could say, you know, trailing stop order $1 below, and that'll be a custom thing that'll say there. And every time you press the button, it'll submit a trailing stop order $1 below the current market price. I'm not a big fan of trailing stops, I'll be honest with you. But yeah. Hola, ¿qué tal? I should say it with the right accent, but my accent was so Canadian there. How do you learn to code in Sierra, and what language is the best for it? So you start by asking Google and you watch videos by Frozen Tundra showing how to compile a Sierra chart custom study. And then you go to sierrachart.com and you look at their documentation and you read about the interface, and then you learn that then you learn about it there. That's the best way. So you start by doing researches. It's the language is in C++. It's a native C++. But the good thing about Sierra Chart's ACSIL interface, which is their interface directly to Sierra Chart software, is that the functions that they've written for ACSIL, they're basically wrapper functions, or they're basically functions that facilitate doing certain things in the software. So you don't have to go in and start coding low-level algorithms for you know, parsing the characters out of a string. Although if you do want to do that, you may have to do that. But like what I'm saying is there's a lot of functions for accessing the data in Sierra Chart, and all of them are already programmed into the ACSIL interface in the form of functions that you can call. So it's kind of like a higher level version of C++. Let's just say that. So it's not as hard as coding a, you know, a graphical user interface program with multiple threads involved, or you know, a server-side application that has to process you know, WebSocket incoming and outgoing connections, and then use multiple threads to process certain things. And you know, it's nowhere near. It's like, you know, easy mode compared to that. Soki Real Estate says, in IBKR, how to change portfolio to USD instead of CAD conversion. I only have USD in my account. I think what you mean is, how do you change your base currency from USD to CAD? And the way you do that would be in the account settings. So you go to your account settings, which is accessed in the web platform. So let's say you're here. You would go to account management, home, and then it's going to open up a web browser. And then you go to your account settings there, and you'll be able to change the base currency of your account. I tend to leave the base currency of my accounts in Canadian dollars, simply because it facilitates tax purposes at the end of the year, because you are declaring taxes in Canadian dollars. But there's different ways of doing that. I mean, you could keep your base currency in USD, and then you could use the recommended Bank of Canada yearly exchange rate to convert your profits or loss back to your home currency and declare your taxes that way. Immigrant Trader says, what is the cheapest data feed for TWS platform and Sierra Chart respectfully? Thank you, Verrillo. I'm grateful for your content. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining. The cheapest data feed for TWS, well, look, cheapest is not really the best always. If you're using Sierra Chart, I'd say the best data feed is the data feed that they offer, which is their Denali Exchange data feed. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, this data feed only supports a certain number of markets, like futures and stocks. It does not have level 2 data for stocks, except for NASDAQ Total View, which is not really that worth it because you're not seeing the whole order book anyways. But I guess it could give you a bit of liquidity for the NASDAQ stocks, so I guess it's okay for that. So if you're trading on TWS, then you can get the data directly there, although I don't recommend their data feed as a high quality data feed, but I typically just use it as an execution data feed. So if you trade, like the way I trade options is I'll execute the option orders directly on TWS, at least for now, until I write some sort of a program where I can execute them on my own without using TWS. But you subscribe to their level 1 data, and you get the options data basically, and it's perfectly fine. You know, the update speed is just about fine enough. I never really had an issue with it. I mean, it's perfectly fine. If you need tick by tick data and all that, you're not going to get that with this data feed. That's something to know. Okay, so that's the answer to that question. And he said, what's the cheapest? So both of those data feeds are relatively cheap. They're not expensive. They're going to get expensive. They will get expensive if you're a professional market data subscriber. So like if you're you know, if you're a financial advisor, or if you're a corporation, if you open an account in the name of your corporation or legal entity, then you're going to be forced to pay professional market data fees at all times. Okay, but if you open a personal account, an individual account, then you can pay non-professional fees, so that's fine. What's going on, Jose? He says, what is your preference when studying an asset or a market? Suppose it satisfies a certain liquidity. For example, does this order seem right for you? I'm not sure. Studying an asset, suppose it satisfies a certain liquidity. I'm not so sure what he means. I guess he means what kind of liquidity are you looking for that market, for you to deem that market as tradable. Okay. Number 1, volume profile in daily and 60 minutes. Number 2, price action in 60 minutes. Number 3, order flow 1 or 2 minutes for NQ, and are using a tick chart. Okay. Number 1, volume I don't use volume profile that much. Actually, I don't use it at all. I only use I used to tinker around with it, but I don't use volume profile. Number 2, price action in 60 minutes. Yes, I use price action. Number 3, order flow for 1-2 minute charts in NQ. Yeah, so all of that is pretty, how do I say, vague things, vague items. Like when you talk about price action, like I have a 3-minute Heikin Ashi over here. So, and then also this indicator here with the purple dot and the extension lines, that's an ATR model that it looks back, and it looks back over a number of bars, and it also looks at the volume of the current last 3 bars, and it gauges, I guess, where the market is currently valued at, and then it draws the extensions away from that based on my ATR model. And I found that, you know, sometimes when I like it when these ATR models, when the extension lines line up with certain other contextual levels, because that'll give me areas where I might want to buy it or sell it temporarily. Another thing I use is these boxes. That was a friend of mine who developed this, and then I coded it for him in Sierra Chart. But it's not finished. I never actually got around to finishing it. I'm just using a beta version of it, but it's been fine. And it's interesting because it draws these boxes based on Heikin Ashi bars. So when we see Heikin Ashi moving in the same direction, and then we get one close in the opposite direction, it'll then draw a box. And then when we get a close above or below the box, it'll change the color of that box. So the reason that this box is blue is because it was originally a supply zone, and then we closed above it with a Heikin Ashi bar here, so that now we have a bull break box. So what that tells you is that we have the bulls are in control of the market. But one thing that could be interesting is that if we see a reclaim down to that, it could signal that there are some bulls. The bulls who entered here, and here are now trapped, and they may need to get out. So if we see a reclaim of that box, it could signal maybe a shift in the market, and maybe a signal to go short term, that is. So it gives you some context. It's interesting. Oh my God, JT, I speak too fast. I know. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get through. I'm just trying to get through as much stuff. I'm going crazy here, eh? Going absolutely mental. Note that I haven't even eaten anything today. Let's see here. Can you enter and exit and trade for fun? Yeah, I can. What software do you use to remotely control your Sierra Chart? A classic team viewer or a Mo or a niche software? Kuror. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I use, what do I use? I use a software called X2Go. X2Go client. That's what I use. X2Go client. So I'll log into my remote server that way. All right. So guys, check this out, right? We're going to do something special now. I'm going to get somebody up here. Let's go over to my Telegram, and then I'm going to get somebody up here to speak on Telegram. Whoops, I don't know. I'm just freaking out over here. I don't know what's going on. But we got 2 people on the Telegram channel. We got Jose and we got Rez. If you guys got something to say, raise your hand. I'm gonna let you speak and see how that works. But if you guys want to join the Telegram, what you got to do is you go to Telegram. https:// there it is right there. You could join the Telegram. I'm streaming there, and if you want to come and say something right now or ask me a question directly live on air, you can do that right now. Join the Telegram, and then you can do that. Philip, good question. He says, did your dad listen to you, or did he buy real estate? He actually did listen to me. He didn't buy real estate, and instead what he did to compensate for this different situation that he's in is he's been actually getting a little bit more into investing and trading, which is another kind of can of worms that let's just say it's a bit it's a bit complex to deal with. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, dealing with newer investors is something that experienced traders don't really want to deal with. So if you ever, and I see this a lot, like when you look at X, right? Look at X. X is formerly Twitter. You get these people that post these things, right? They post advice about trading. Maybe why don't we just scroll X for a bit and find one? Because we're gonna find one pretty soon. Like, look, let me find one. Look, you get people that post all kinds of level 1 stuff about trading. Oh God. No degenerate stuff on my stream. Okay. Lock-in crap, trader theory. Anyways, there's some good stuff. But what I find is you'll often get these influencers, these trading influencers on X posting very simple level 1 crap that is not helpful in any way at all. And I'm looking for some right now, but I can't find it because I guess I deleted it off my feed at this point. It's not that important. But I'm trying to find something. Why am I seeing too much over-sexualized stuff? Guys, I don't know about you, but when I scroll these media platforms, I'm just super receptive to the absolute level of over-sexualization that exists on these platforms. The absolute level of just like crap that's on here. Just absolute crap. Like whether it's Facebook, X, Instagram, it's crap. I mean, it's all like over-sexualized garbage that freaking is disgraceful. Okay, this guy right here. Okay, I'm not shouting at this guy, but this guy is a super level 1 poster. Okay, so look, I'll just read one of his tweets. Okay, what do you think is overbought in the market? Okay, fastest way to quit your job ASAP is by swing trading. Why? Because you can actually fit it around work. You don't need the time of the day, etc. I'm seeing what I like. Yeah, that's what they all say. Nah, it's not true. It's not true. And then he says this, forcing myself to see, like, okay, I am bullish on indices. ES is the strongest. Okay, fine. I don't know. What's the other one? There's another guy named J Trader that all they do is post super level 1 stuff. Let's see. J Trader. No, this is not the same J Trader. Anyways, I don't care anymore, guys. Just stay off of X. Because unless you're following me, of course, follow me on X, VerrilloTrading X, okay? X.com/VerrilloTrading, baby. Let's go. And t.me/VerrilloTrading. Come into the live stream and ask me a question, guys. Seriously. We got Jose here. I'm allowing Jose to speak. Jose, where you at, bro? He's just listening, man. Anyways, no big issue. So yeah, join the Telegram and come in and speak. Other than that, if you guys don't want to speak, then it's cool. Is Martin Shkreli okay? You know what? Martin Shkreli's very interesting. That guy, I started watching a bit of his content. He's actually one of the more interesting content creators, I would say. Yeah, I would say he's good. My gosh. All right, guys. Well, let's look at what the markets are doing quickly. And if nothing's going on, we're probably just going to end the stream. And if you guys want, like I said, if you guys want to join and ask me a question directly on Telegram, that would be good because I want to open up the floor now for some questions. So I'm just waiting for whoever to join, and guys, just let me know. We're just gonna do it. Jose says he can't talk via Telegram, but you're not muted or anything. You're actually allowed to speak on the Telegram. You have to unmute your mic and talk. He says I can't talk via Telegram. Anyways, it's no big deal. Yeah. Well, until someone wants to get up, we're just gonna chill over here and look at the markets. So MicroStrategy is finally pulling back, and that's something interesting that I was seeing right here. You see how MicroStrategy is pulling back to the blue box, as well as Bitcoin. So if you see, now there's more context to it than this. We have to look at more context. So we have QQQ pulling back. We have everything pulling back a bit. What time are we? We're 3:20 p.m. I typically don't like trading late in the day, but because I haven't really traded much today, it's actually okay. It's not a big issue. So we've been seeing the market, basically Bitcoin has rallied since the early morning. And anybody who was bearish on this today, all the shorts are losing money on this all day. So that means that there is a chance that we could see a pullback. But let's look at some of our other indicators here to determine that. So we have, let's see here. I'm looking at Bitcoin perpetual futures. Let me just redraw my supply demand zones to see if there's a level I'm missing here, and there isn't. Okay. But for some reason, there's an additional level here on micro Bitcoin futures. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to delete all these drawings. 1 second. Select all, delete. Yes. Okay. I'm going to go to the daily chart right here on MBT. Draw them again. And there's this area right here, which is 107.50, though I'm not so fond of that, but I understand why the level is there, but that's not really an important level. One important level on MicroStrategy is down at 362.67, which is a weekly level. But when it comes to prior day levels on the markets, there isn't really much we're working with here. I guess there's prior day high, which we're not quite there. Prior day high on Bitcoin, prior day high on MicroStrategy, which is actually not that far away. Oh, sorry, not that. Right here, MicroStrategy. Yeah, MicroStrategy is very close to prior day high. So that's something interesting. You could short it based on prior day high. I was looking at this right here. So, okay, you saw that? You see how we bottom ticked the blue box and recovered? It's still bullish. In fact, so we might see it reclaim. We might see it trade prior day highs right now on MicroStrategy. So I think it's still bullish. If we do see a reclaim of the blue, could be bearish, I think. How would I trade this right now? The easiest way to trade this would be directly using Bitcoin futures. Unfortunately, what I often do when I'm trading futures, when I'm trading crypto, is I'm trading them on my phone at the same time as looking at the analysis here on my chart. So I might be on my phone trading on KuCoin or BitGet, and I'll go in, I'll borrow 40.4 of a Bitcoin, and I'll short 10 of it, put it in order. I'll scale in, then I'll cover 10 of it, at a time. But yeah, I don't like that. I mean, what I would really like is if everything was integrated directly on Sierra chart, where I could just go and place my orders directly on here. But 3:22 p.m. here, we're late in the day. We're going into the last half an hour of the day. I don't really see that much opportunity. In fact, all of today, I didn't really see much of anything that was very interesting. This H bar is interesting. It's a cryptocurrency. Solana as well is very interesting, because if you look at this, sorry, where was it? I don't know why it's not working. There we go. X. This monthly level was important as a reclaim, and then it's just been bullish since then. Wow, look at that. Look at what we just saw. We saw like a flash crash up, didn't make it to new highs, but we're also, look at this discrepancy right here. Look at the discrepancy we're seeing between Bitcoin on Binance and MicroStrategy. You're seeing a loss in overall correlation. I don't know if it has to do with the Heikin-Ashi bars. I don't think it does. But here we see 367.27. Let me just look at my other chart. One moment. Yeah, 367.60, 367. 70, 85. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. I was just looking because sometimes the Heikin-Ashi bars, they create a discrepancy in the chart. If you guys use TradingView, if you put Heikin-Ashi on TradingView, for some reason, the last traded price on the Heikin-Ashi bar isn't the actual last traded price of the market. It's weird. I don't know why it does that. It's super weird. Yeah. I'll go over to Telegram, see if anyone wants to speak. Mohammed wants to speak on Telegram. Let's see here. Mohammed El Alami. Wait a minute. That name rings a bell. I'll allow you to speak, bro. What's going on? What's going on, Mohammed? You gotta set up your mic. So you're allowed to speak on Telegram right now. You can actually unmute. You just gotta unmute and then speak. Maybe I'll do Twitter Spaces next time. Maybe that'll be easier. Who knows? Maybe I'll do Twitter Spaces and yeah. Well, Mohammed's unmuted, so all he has to do is unmute his mic. So in the meantime, I'll just go over here. So I would say, guys, low opportunity. So let me give you guys an outlook for going into Monday. So just a bit of an outlook here going into Monday, which is Trump's inauguration, obviously. So,
hey, can you hear me?
Hey, Mohammed, I hear you, man. How's it going?
What's up, my boy?
What's up?
Canada.
What's up? I'm in
You're
Canada.
making money.
Yeah, we're doing all right. Can't complain.
This is good. What is your order book?
Order book? Let me see.
You remember me? Where is your order book?
Oh, it's you. Yeah, I remember you, bro. I remember you. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, what do you got to tell us? You're live on YouTube. What do you got to tell us, man?
I was just wanted to say hi and that's it.
Oh my god.
I just came back from work. It's good. I'm sorry, man. I have nothing for you.
Okay. Well, look, next time, come on and actually give us something. Give us
sure.
Give us something to talk about. All right. All right. Thanks, man.
For sure.
Okay. Cool.
Great day, man.
Cheers, man. You too. All right. Who's up next? Did you guys hear him, by the way, in the chat? I think you guys heard him because I got my audio pulling that up. So. He says, hi, have you got Discord, Trader Monk? No, I don't got Discord. I got Telegram. T.me/Telegram. Sorry, T.me/VerrilloTrading and X.com/VerrilloTrading. That's right, baby. I own the brand. What do you prefer in trading, options versus futures? I like both, honestly. Options are way more complex. If you trade options, I recommend getting the Sheldon Nadeberg Bible, which is Options Pricing and Volatility. I was reading through it last night. I was just reading through it. I was like, man, this is literally the Bible for options traders, guys. It literally is. All right. Umar says, Chris, do you scan daily for stock picks, or do you prefer the same few stocks to trade daily? No. So I'm not really in much of an individual stock trader. I typically trade broad names, like broad market names, and I trade whatever's in play. It's very rare that I'll go in and scan for a stock based on a criteria, although maybe one day I'll do that, but it's not something I've ever really done that much of. I typically trade broad names. Like right here, you're looking at Bitcoin. So you're seeing three charts. You have Binance, you have the CME Group Futures, and you have MicroStrategy. At least on Sierra chart, this is what I found to be the best representation of Bitcoin chart, which is Bitcoin USDT _ Binance. There's other symbols on Binance too, but they're problematic sometimes. With my indicators, I don't know why. So we're seeing new highs here. Bitcoin on MicroStrategy, new highs. I'm actually curious to know what Tesla stock's doing too at this time. It's probably moving up. Let's see. Moving up a chart book. Let's see. Anyone else want to talk? No. I guess not. Yep. So that's what's up. If you guys are just joining, let me know with a comment down below. I don't know how long you've been going for, but I think we'll keep going a little longer here. We're just doing our thing. The last 30 minutes of the market. If you guys have any questions for me, leave them now, because I think we'll answer our last few questions and then wrap it up. So we're just downloading data here for U.S. equities. Tesla stock, where are you at? There you are. So it's pulling back to, look at that. Okay, so you have Tesla pulling back. So the Qs are pulling back, but you're seeing MicroStrategy on the high. Let me close this bond chart book because we're not going to be trading this. There's Bitcoin near the high of day. Overall, okay, so now we're hitting the last 30 minutes of the day. So if you guys want a quick tip, the 31 of you that are watching, okay, this is something that I'm going to give you guys. It's very important. every 15 minutes, and especially at the top of the hour and the top of the half hour, there's different algorithms that get turned on in the market. So you'll see sometimes shifts or different rotations that come in right on the top of the half hour or top of the 15 minutes sometimes, and especially top of the hour. Sometimes you'll see it at 2:30 p.m., sometimes at 2 p.m., sometimes at 1 p.m., sometimes at noon, sometimes in the middle of the night. But see, for right now, we are 3:30 p.m. and what do we see? What are we going to see right now? That's what we have to look at. So we're seeing MicroStrategy trade on highs. We're seeing Binance right on the high. I don't know if it's going to pop. It looks like it wants to pop to the high, but it also looks kind of exhausted. So MicroStrategy trading at 370 right now is interesting because there's no prior day context here. There's really nothing above the prior day high at above this area, 368.42. It becomes very questionable to want to short this. Now you could create an overshoot range. Let's say you say 368.42, and if I look at what my overshoot range based on my volatility is $1.79. So what I would say is $1.79 higher than what's that level? 368.42. So I'll come over here and I'll do 368.42. Where are we? There it is. So and then I should have a drawing tool that kind of draws that, but let's say it's $2, so 368.42, so 370.42 minus I don't know, 30 cents. Let's say about 370-ish. So 370, below 370, you can actually short this. Above 370, it's a long. That's what I'd say. Would you go in and buy puts on this? That's the only way you could trade this, if you actually go in and short the stock, or if you bought puts on it. You could front run it, right? And then what you would want to see is if you were shorting it up here, well, obviously if you were longing it, if you were shorting it, you would probably be getting out right here. I wouldn't short it based on the overshoot range that I just categorized. I wouldn't short it above 370 even. So if it's holding below 370 even, you could argue it's still a short. And what you'd want to see is now you'd be shorting it early. It'd be an early short. But then if it starts reclaiming down below this blue box, you could enter a short, and that would be even more of a confirmation. Maybe you could even add to the short there. You could even add to the short, and then you'd blow out if we make a new high, 370.40, 370-ish, 370 even type of thing. Another thing you could look at, let me see, are we close to priority highs on Bitcoin? We are. 100,850. But see, I don't like this discrepancy that we're seeing, where we're seeing MicroStrategy on the highs and Bitcoin perpetual not. So that's something that I don't like seeing. So it's 3:30 p.m. The market's not doing anything. It's going sideways. So give it a couple minutes and we might get more information about this. It might be a short, it might be a long. We don't know. Like I said, but the opportunity level looks pretty low. I wouldn't really mess with this too much, but it does look like it's fading down slowly. But again, I'm not really too confident on trading this. But if I did trade it, what would I do? I would do 360 puts maybe on not 360, maybe 365. Let's see here. MicroStrategy 365 puts. What do those look like? Let's see. 3,000. They have about a 15-cent spread. It's not that bad. They expire tomorrow. 370. Let's get rid of these calls. Actually, 370 calls have a lot of volume. These have a 25-cent spread. These have a 30-cent spread now. These 365 puts. See, it's kind of disgraceful if you look at it. The volume that trades there is not that high. But at least they're doing a few contracts of volume, but it's not really anything good. I don't like that, Volume on these options isn't good. 350 put, 360 puts. You have 360 puts, then 365 puts. The volume is just disgraceful. I mean, look at that. The time and sales just hasn't done anything. It's just completely disgraceful. So what you do, in my opinion, is you just go in and short the actual stock, MSTR, right? So it gives you a more reasonable representation of that. So if you short 100 shares, you'd be basically a dollar, a tick. Sorry, a dollar. Or no, sorry, $100 for every dollar. That's for 100 shares. $100 for every dollar. So right now we're at 368. Sorry, we're at 369. Bitcoin by Binance looks like it just popped to the highs. I mean, I don't see any reason to short this. There's no reason to short this. As you're seeing Bitcoin trade above the highs here, we're probably going to get a high Kanashi close above that white box on the futures. We already have it here on perpetual. There's no reason to short this just yet. No reason to short this. Nope. Not in my book. Not in my book at all, guys. Whoa, I dropped coffee in my face. So what are you guys doing? Are you shorting it or are you long in it? What are you guys doing? What are you guys trading right now? The 30 of you who are watching this, what are you guys trading? Are you guys trading stocks, Bitcoin, etc.? You got 30 of you watching. Look at this, NVIDIA on lows. Well, I don't think it's lows, but it's moving low now. It's moving down now. Let's see here. Haha, goal. We can make a super chat goal. But yeah, you traded HUT today. Nice. Yeah, you know what I figured? Most of you guys are probably not trading at the end of the day. I never really do this anyways. But what if you trade if you don't trade morning, then I guess you trade end of the day. Hack says he's trading NQ. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, NQ's the gold standard, I would say. The gold standard, baby. Riot, Mara, Coin. Interesting. ES, NASDAQ. Yep, those are all stocks. I'll make note of them. Do those have correlations to the broad market at all? Or credit spreads, okay. MS captured 9 points on a short this afternoon session. Right on, man. Good for you, Mark. Nice one. Beast, man. Let's see. Do I have the indices up here? No, eh? Let me bring them up. I think they're missing a couple of my indicators because I don't really bring up this chart book that much, but I should. Let's see. Bringing up the indices here. Yep, NQ. A lot of you guys are trading the NASDAQ. Interesting. Yeah, you know, I used to trade it quite a lot, but wow. So I mean, 9 points on a short. What could have been? Well, I guess it could have been anywhere. It could have been anywhere here or here. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not even on the right day. What am I saying? What am I doing? End. There we go. Now we're talking. This is today's. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. You have prior day midnight price right here. 990.50. That's interesting. Prior day midnight price on the NASDAQ. Look at that top tick right there. Prior day midnight price on the NASDAQ right there. Top tick. Russell 2000 is bullish. It's above the midnight price. Look at the top. Look at this. Look at this. I don't make this shit up, guys. I don't make this shit up. Look at this. Prior day midnight price on YM. Look at that reversal. Dude, this shit's serious. I don't make it up, bro. It's a midnight price, baby. It's a New York midnight price. Alright, so Bitcoin's still floating up. Nothing going on there. Stocks are moving volatile. I ain't messing with that. I ain't messing with nothing right now. I ain't messing with none of this crap. None of this garbage. But still interesting to see. Let's look at the S&P 500. So yeah, today was an inside day. Yep, totally an inside day on NQ. Same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. Let's look at a couple of cryptos. The cryptos are ones that were interesting me. So we had an update today in XRP. One thing I was saying, well, it's too late now, but I guess now we have prior day midnight price at $3.07. Reclaim that could get dangerous for the bulls on XRP. H bar is currently at resistance at 38,200. It is, I would say, a zone where you could potentially argue where you could take a profit. I know I look at very remote markets. I've been looking at more cryptos, guys, because I find that these things are more interesting than the traditional NQ, ES, because I find that stuff all moves the same. You're looking at NQ, you're looking at all the stocks. And I find one thing that I've been thinking about, I mean, you guys who trade NQ, tell me about how you trade them. But one thing that I found about NQ and ES is that it really only makes sense to trade them if you are also watching the big stocks that are behind the NASDAQ. Like, do you guys watch the stocks as you trade them? Do you guys watch Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Google? Do you guys watch those stocks as you're trading the NASDAQ? Because I would if I was trading NASDAQ, personally. Yep, no one's in my Telegram thing. But if you guys want to, you could join it there too. But yeah, I got a couple of you guys follow me on X. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Make shout outs to you guys, and maybe next time I'll do spaces instead of Telegram, so that way you guys can come in directly on your phone, because sometimes Telegram has issues with audio drivers. Okay, so you're seeing MicroStrategy reclaim this blue box here. We're 20 minutes till market close. I mean, you know, you could short it. You could short it. You could short it. You could short something. But the opportunity is low, I would say.
Order filled.
Okay, well, I'm filled. I'll put a stop above the high there. I'm on Bitcoin futures. Let's see here. 880, 101.40. Let's see here. I shorted 2 micro Bitcoin futures. It's just a joke trade. A joke trade for the stream. It's just a joke for the stream. But what I don't like is how MSTR held the blue box. That's actually a red flag. You see the way it bounced off the bottom of the blue box there? That's a red flag. That's no good. Okay. But one thing is, we're still below 370 on MSTR, which could mean that we could see a short. It doesn't mean that we won't go for a new high on Bitcoin. And if we do, maybe, see, I'm just calculating my risk here, 2 seconds. I can afford the risk on this, even if I upped it a little bit. It's not a big deal. And then I could probably short another 2 up here if we went for it. But where my target would be, so I have a limit down here. No, I have a 2 limit down here. So what I'll do is I'll do this. Actually, no, I'll just let it play out. Let's see what it's doing. I don't like what it's doing. I don't like what it's doing because we reclaimed the blue box. Anyways, whatever. This is just a little joke trade. I'll change this to 1. I'm not going to add to a loser too much. I'll only add 1 more. But actually, I'll be completely out of this trade if we reclaim 370 pretty much. Like, if it starts bidding above 370, like, I'm pretty much out at that point, guys. Like, I'm not going to be staying in that on MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. It's difficult to get good entries in Bitcoin futures sometimes because the bid offer spread gets manipulated a bit. But anyways, there you go. Trade it on stream. Call it a bad entry if you want. It's no big deal. At least I have a stop loss. One thing I'll do is I'll put a bid down here if it does crash down there, you know, just in case. But we have, we got 15 minutes. D38 says he followed me on X. Awesome. Thanks, JJ. Appreciate you. Watching ES Footprint trading on NASDAQ. Okay, that's interesting. Gives you a bit of correlation. I still think it's important to look at the mag stocks, like the big stocks, big name stocks. But yeah, so I mean, there you have it, guys. We're messing around trading a little bit now. I told you guys what my plan was, so you could front run me if you want, or you could fade me if you want to. Did you ever hear the story of the guy that just fades traders? Like, he just calculates data on how wrong people are on Twitter, and then he fades the ones that are always wrong. Yeah, that shit's crazy. It's a legitimate trading strategy. I really want to see MSTR reclaim that blue box again. And I also want to see BTC here start trading below the blue box here too. But as of now, I mean, you know, it's reasonable to still short this. I mean, I'm not going to start going crazy on it because there's 15 minutes left in the trading session. Well, an hour and 15 minutes, I guess. But, you know, whatever. For me, it doesn't make any difference. For me, it's like, I don't know. If we make a little bit of money on stream, it's cool, whatever. If we lose a bit of money, it's still cool. It doesn't make much of a difference to me. You got to just set and forget it type of thing. But I don't like how Bitcoin is not breaking below that. If there's anything else we can potentially watch in the meantime, that would be good. But there isn't really much. You're seeing ES try to reclaim the the midnight price right there. If ES reclaims that midnight price, it could maybe send Bitcoin higher. We'll see. Those are not terribly correlated. It does have an effect. Oh yeah, new high on gold. Okay, interesting. Yeah, a new high on RTY as well. Interesting. 367.50. So we have, basically, this is the prior day. What was it? Prior day high on MSTR, 368.42. Yeah. Okay. But as you can see, even if they're very choppy, right? There's not much we can do here. My entry price wasn't that good, judging, based on what we're seeing. I may have to, puke out of this, but so you might see Bitcoin go for a new high right here, which is acceptable because there's just a lot of back and forth volatility. I'm willing to accept that. This is not the type of trade that you try and get a perfect entry on. You can see, look how volatile the bid-ask spread is. We traded up here, then we traded down here. It's absolutely so volatile. So if I wanted to scalp the bid-offer spread, I probably could. It's not a big deal. Oh, we just got a super chat. Thank you, Hack. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. That's awesome. He says, I don't know what SAR is, but thank you. I'm going to look later. He says, you told me a lot about IBKR. I'm an expert now. This is just a small gift. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate that. Thank you. Mark Lewis says, I coded a custom study in Sierra to compare the top 10 stocks in the S&P to the NASDAQ and to the ES. I was hoping to find early signals using the top 10 as a composite, but didn't get anything useful out of it. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting little study. But keep in mind, the ES is a broader index than the NASDAQ, so it may not be so reliable to do that. Okay, well, look, it's moving our way a little bit here. I mean, I don't know if we can count on much here, but we'll have to see. What I would like to see actually is, maybe a test of this box down here, maybe a reclaim of it entirely. But I think it's a reasonable short when it comes to a risk to reward standpoint. But what I don't like is this. I don't like how it's chopping below that. See, it doesn't make me want to add to it, you see. In fact, it makes me very not wanting to add to this, especially because we're late in the day. It could do anything. It's not something I'm going to want to add to and put more risk on and gamble on more here. I'm not going to start gambling on this late in the day. We'll probably get filled on this profit taker. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's in a reasonable location. That's just one of the contracts. It's half the position, and then we'll let the other one ride and see. But yeah, I mean, nothing's guaranteed. It's late in the day. We have 10 minutes to trading. We may just go down a bit, flush down, and then chop. So I may as well want to, close off this entire trade. Like if it doesn't really do anything in the next, I don't know, a few minutes, I may just get out, or I might just stick around here a few more minutes and then whatever. For me, it doesn't make a difference, but I'm not going to be starting putting on a lot of risk late in the day here because I'm seeing how it's trading. It's very spready and up and down and ugly trading, but the bias behind my trade is still valid. But I don't know if it's going to follow through now. It may not. It may just chop, but it looks like it is going down a little bit here. So we'll let that play out a little longer. What are your thoughts on the best UK platforms, trading platforms? I'm not sure, man. I don't live in the UK. I'm not so sure about that. I know that Interactive Brokers is available worldwide, so you can check out them. Tell me about the UK, because I've heard about all these weird regulations in the UK especially related to cryptocurrencies and related to brokers. Why is it that whenever someone makes a post about cryptocurrencies, they always say something about this post is not intended for people of the United Kingdom? Is it because crypto is banned in the UK? Like, what is that all about? Do you guys know about that? Okay, so I got Phil on that little profit taker there. I don't really know what I'm gonna do going forward here. I may just do nothing. What's this stop limit all about? Just managing some orders here real quick. Change that to 1. It's not a big deal. Yeah, so again, look at this discrepancy. I mean, you had Bitcoin on a big sweep down and got filled on that, pretty much on the low tick, which is weird. And then you're seeing it reclaim back up. And now you're seeing MicroStrategy still down here at 367. Super, 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 super weird activity we're witnessing right here. Super, super, super weird. Like, look at this. I mean, this is it. Look at this. It's like Bitcoin futures are not correlated to MicroStrategy. Like, okay, interesting. I don't like the fact that we're anti-correlated. While I may still want to add a bit, I still may want to add one back, like up here. It's complicated because of where MicroStrategy is trading. See, I really don't like this, what we're seeing. I really, really don't like the way MicroStrategy is down here and Bitcoin's up here. I'm actually, because my bias is actually playing on a level that's on MicroStrategy. So I may just end up just cutting this. Like, I may just end up blowing out of this right now. Let's see. Can I bid my way out of this for break even? Let me see something. $100, $324. You see that pivot? You see the way we tested that pivot, that swing high on Bitcoin? Now we're rallying back up. Yeah, I don't like that. But MSTR is still going lower. Look at this. It's at 366. It's very weird. Anyways, maybe I'll get the break even here and I'll just get out. I'll probably get it. Let's see.
Order filled.
All right. I hope that wasn't too loud. It was probably too freaking loud for you guys, blowing your freaking eardrums off. Yeah. But whatever. We took a little, I guess we made a little bit of money on that. We took a little profit on that one and we broke even on the second contract. So, hey, whatever. No big deal. But that's all I got to do, guys. That's all I got to say today. I'm going to stay on for next 10 minutes, guys. If you guys have any finishing questions for me, I would appreciate that. We're on camera. Live camera. Yes, correlation isn't always continuous. I like that. I like that. That's interesting. But you know, you would expect, but I guess market on close orders kind of make this make these types of discrepancies happen, because you know, market on close for stocks is it just has the potential to change weird, just make things weird happen in the market. But yeah, guys, drop me some last few questions. If any of you guys want to come into the Telegram, drop me something quick, real quick here, like drop me a quick hello in the Telegram. You can. Next time, I want you guys to keep in mind, I might do a stream next week, although next week I'm flying down south, so next time I come see you guys, I might be in a different place. I'll most probably be in a different place. Which will be cool, but I want to do more of these types of streams so that way we can talk and catch up with some of you guys, maybe over Twitter Spaces or over Telegram live stream. But that's all. So if you guys don't have any final questions, I'm probably going to end the stream right here. Wish you guys a fantastic day, and I hope to hear from you. And I'll have this live stream time-stamped so that you can skip to any section that interests you. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go eat a big steak now. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.